Well, it's that time of the week where I'm always pleased to be joined in studio by our very special guest, Mr. Chris Swift of Swift Trading. How you doing?
Doing fine, Marlin. Good morning.
Good to have you on board once again.
Appreciate that.
Happy Cyber Monday to you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, amid all the other chaos going on around the holidays and everything, and the free-for-all outside, we have grain markets that we're going to talk about, and we're coming up at the end of a trading month.
Yes.
We're coming up on our final crop condition report this afternoon, the crop progress report. We're going to have first notice day coming up on Thursday. Have all kinds of things going on here.
Big active week, it sure will be.
To keep in mind. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at our corn and soybean trade in just a moment. I want to take a look at the Dow. That's also making a move today, if we can. Let's go ahead and bring that Dow Jones Industrial Average up here so the folks at home can see what it's doing. Here you go, Chris, up 63 points right now, basically 64 points at 23,623 right now on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. A little firmer tone there. How come? Do you know?
I would dare to say that the sales from Black Friday and some of the shopping centers around are reporting really good sales, so I can imagine that's where a lot of it's coming from.
I've been hearing that too. They thought it was pretty successful in most cases anyway. U.S. dollar value, though, we can take a look at that. And on the dollar value here this morning, it had declined. It was down about 200 some points last half hour, but now it's firming up a little bit. Down 50 points. Now down 70 points at 92.640. Just wanted to point that out. And crude oil has been weaker today, too. West Texas crude, it's extending its losses now. After getting up as high as 58.99 this morning on January, it's now at 57.77. Quite a turnaround there, down $1.18 on the day. All right, let's look at the corn and soybean trade for you. And corn, we have December down 1 3/4 at 340.5. That's on the low of the day so far. And July down 2 1/4 at 369, also on the low of the day. Soybean trade right now, we have the January contract now trading a penny and a quarter higher at 994.5, and July up a penny at 1023.5. A little dryness in Argentina, I understand. Folks a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, they had got a little bit of rain over the weekend, a little more in the southern portions than what they were anticipating. So that kind of lit a little pressure last night on the beans, but up 1 this morning, we can still see that demand for beans is still there.
I did note when I was traveling through Kentucky last week that there were quite a few soybeans out in the field yet. Those are double crop beans,
That's
from
correct.
what I understand, and they'll probably go out this week. But there were some left to be taken out.
Yeah, a few out there.
Yeah, I didn't know if that would matter much to the cash market or basis levels around
I doubt it very much. It looks like the majority of the bean crops are already harvested for the year, and they probably wrapped up any corn that was left. We had fantastic weather all week last week, and then going into this week, some more good weather. So anything that's left out there could be easily harvested for the year's end.
All right, well, let's take a look at our wheat trade too, and let's go to the board and take a look at our Chicago wheat where we have December. Wow, down 6 at 409 3/4. Chris, I'm pretty sure that's a new contract low again. July down 5 1/4 at 456 now, almost on the low of the day. In Kansas City wheat, here we have December down 5 1/2 at 409 on the low of the day. July down 5 1/4 at 458. And Minneapolis wheat generally does not fare quite as badly, but it is today. December down 6 1/4 at 617 1/4. July down 4 1/4. And if we look at the cotton, here on the cotton market today, December is 9 points higher at 72.32. And Chris, I see where China is planning to auction off 30,000 tons a day of cotton from their inventory in March. But also India, they say, is having just a tremendous problem with bollworm infestation. And they were looking for a record crop out of India, and now they say it could be down 10%. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on, I guess, moving forward here. I want to pause for a quick little break, and then I want to bring you back and get your thoughts on this livestock trade, which was just like herding cats. It was all over the place, and we'll talk about that when we come back with Chris right after this. Come on back. Talking with Chris Swift of Swift Trading Incorporated in Nashville, Tennessee. He joins us in studio right now. When we went home after the Thanksgiving Day break, then we had a short trading session on Friday. In the cattle market, a lot of folks were really scratching their head where you had live cattle going down, you had feeder cattle going up on Friday at the close of that short session. Then you had the lean hogs gapping higher. So a little something for everyone. And now this morning we opened up the cattle market. It was fairly flat here. Tell us what we're looking at here. Let's go ahead and pull up our live cattle prices. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Here on the live cattle, after opening maybe 10 or 20 cents lower, we have December now 44 higher at 119.02. So now we're pushing the upward side of the envelope here. February up 34 at 124.92. Feeder cattle side over here, this is the one that closed higher Friday. Now it's mixed. And we have January 35 higher at 153.65, while the March is down 15 at 151.63 per hundredweight. So, Chris, can you make sense out of this cattle market right now?
Well, a little bit. The demand is still phenomenal for beef, and we're looking for first of the year exports to pick up and show some of the work that we've done all year long, creating these distribution channels, and I think they're going to be oiled and ready to go going into the first of the year for some exports. We still got plenty of cattle on feed. There's no doubt that we've got an elevated number that we'll work through for the rest of this year and into the first quarter. After that, we start to see maybe the placements drop. We saw an elevated placement number in November again. December and January are anticipated to have lower numbers for the placement numbers. And so as we move into the spring of the year, we could find ourselves in a similar situation as what we did last year, where we start placing fewer cattle at the end of the wintertime, and the demand is still remaining robust.
Did you see the spread between the choice and select beef cutout values on Friday afternoon from USDA?
Yeah.
My word, it was, I think, $23 apart,
right,
and some change beyond that. We had choice cuts actually going up well over $1, and the selects went the other way. What does that tell you about the trade?
How current that the cash market is on beef. The currentness of the cattle, there's no backing up. They're not gaining any more weight. The carcass weights have remained relatively steady for the last 3 months, in which normally they increase in carcass weights, but the hard pull all year long has been so tough on them, they haven't had time to just sit in the feed yard and get really good and fat.
Okay, lean hogs, let's take a look at the board there. And on the lean hog market right now, we currently have the December contract 80 higher at 64.05. We have February 42 higher at 69.82. So after that February gapping higher on Friday, they're following through today to the upside. Fairly bullish sign?
It's a little bit. The lean hog index has been rallying just a little bit, and it's right in between where Dece and Feb sit right now. So being $4 apart, they could easily move $2 one way or the other to narrow that basis down. But I don't see anything great big in the hog market. Production's going to remain elevated for a while, and as long as the demand channels stay open and those exports, and we ought to still keep moving that product.
Interesting. All right. Well, Chris, thanks for coming in again. Good to have you with us. Look forward to next week, too.
Thanks, Mark.
So, hope you have a good trading week.
Thank you.
Chris Swift happens to be with Swift Trading Incorporated right here in Nashville. So, Christina, with that, I guess the floor is yours. Now we've opened everything up, and now we know the cattle are firming up again.
All right. Thank you so much, Markets Editor Marlin Bohling and Chris Swift, of course.